Kyle, coming to you from my car. Yes, I am waiting outside of a volleyball open gym. That's usually the case, isn't it? But whatever, that's fine. It's great, to be honest with you. I'm very proud of my kids. We kind of had to do double duty tonight, so my wife went to watch my son in his final concert deal for the arts program he was in this summer. And I came here with my daughter for her volleyball open gym, and she's trying to get offers from volleyball clubs, because that's kind of how it goes. It's weird, man. If you don't know anything about teenagers and playing volleyball or sports like that, it's weird. That's all I can say. But I'm proud of her. She loves it. She loves playing volleyball. She's doing real good. Hopefully she's going to be in a good position to be a strong part of the girls' high school freshman team. Yeah. So what is going on that's good right now? Well, lots of things. However, I can tell you guys that last Sunday I went to my first baseball game of the year. I went to the first Royals game of the year, and it was Girl Scout Day at the K. We go every year for that. My daughter's been in Girl Scouts. She's had her silver award now, so she's got one more level to get her gold award, and then she'll pretty much be done. But every year she sells enough cookies to where she gets a ticket to go to this Royals game. And so we go with her as a family. My mom comes. My son didn't get to come this time because he had to work a double for his job. But anyway, we went, and one of my daughter's friends came with us also, along with my mom and my wife. And it was fun. But what I did not know in advance is that it was also a special bobblehead day. So last year, Salvador Perez was the home run leader for Major League Baseball, our catcher. Now, he's out right now with an injury, but he was a home run leader for baseball last year. And this bobblehead was honorary for him. So it's a special edition bobblehead of him at bat, up at the plate, swinging for the fences, because he's a home run champ from last year. So kind of cool. As soon as I realized that, and I realized we were going to get these, all five of us, I was like, holy cow. I didn't even really care if all five of us got. Even if I was just going to get one, I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. And that all came to fruition today. So, probably about 3 years ago or so, guys, I met a real good friend for the first time. And his name's Keith Beard, and he's a big-time Royals fan. And that's actually the biggest reason we met. And I think I've told this story before, but my wife and I were in this, Oceanside club. It's not really as fancy as it sounds, guys, but it's pretty cool bar and grill type thing. And then out the sound there, they rent paddle boards and other things, jet skis and stuff. So our kids wanted to do paddle boards. So we went and rented them paddle boards, and then we sat inside, and it's a beach motif. So inside the bar, it's all sand. So you walk around barefoot, but it's awesome. And we sat in there and had some cocktails and watched them out the window as they were paddleboarding. And it was a lot of fun. We're sitting there, and my wife said, "Hey, look at that guy over there. It's wearing all that Royals stuff." And I turned around, I saw this guy. I'm like, I wonder, he must be from Kansas City or something. So I went over and started talking to him. It turns out he wasn't from Kansas City. He's actually from Cleveland. And he just grew up a Royals fan. He loved the Kansas City Royals. And we struck it off instantly. We struck this friendship. And my wife really got along with his wife really well. They had their daughter with them, who ended up hanging out with my kids. We hung out there pretty much the whole night. And it was a lot of fun. And since then, Keith Beard has been on my podcast a couple times. And yeah, it's just been a great friendship. So as soon as I saw that they were giving out those Salvador Perez bobbleheads, I knew I was going to get one for Keith and send it to him. And today he received it. And he was very excited and thrilled. And it just made me feel so good because he's such a great Royals fan and stuff. And he would have never probably had access to one of those, even though there were lots of them. But he probably wouldn't have had access to that unless he'd have been here for that game. And so it was awesome to be able to share something like that with him. So he's a good friend, even though we've only ever really hung out one time. But we will change that, Keith Beard. I promise you, sir. All right. So that's what's good that's going on for me today. Other than that, there's a lot of other things. I got this Friday off, and of course Monday's the 4th of July, so I got an extra long weekend coming up. And, it's going to be a good long weekend, hopefully full of some fun stuff and some good times, and hopefully we're not spending $300 on fireworks. So I would be thrilled if we don't do that, but I bet you we spend something. I'd almost bet anything. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, throw it over to Kyle for a quick ad. We'll come back, talk about some things I'm into. Hey, Kyle. All right, and we're back. Okay, so what am I into right now? I think I typically start this off with music, if I remember correctly. And I think I already talked to you guys about Father's Day, or maybe I didn't. Gosh darn it, I don't remember. My gosh, I guess that's what getting old does to you. Now, I did talk to you guys about Father's Day. My wife and my kids took me for a great Father's Day in Lawrence, Kansas, which is where I went to college. Had a great time. So the records I got there. Now, my wife, when we walked into the record store, she said, all right, each one of you kids gets to pick out a record for your dad, and then you pick it out with him, and then he's going to tell you about that record and why it's important, some songs on it or whatever. And so it was on, and I know my kids probably don't love digging through records like I do, but they do kind of like it. They kind of like the vibe of it and everything. As a matter of fact, they each got sweatshirts from the Love Garden, which is a great record store if you've never been there in Lawrence, Kansas, right down there on Mass Street. But they've been there a few times, so they know that place more than a few times. So here's what we ended up getting, I had a couple things, and one of them was the very best of the Stone Roses. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the band, the Stone Roses. But they're kind of I wouldn't call them shoegaze rock, but they're from that era, like Swell or Luna. But they're, I don't even know. It's almost like college rock, I would call it. It's kind of got a little bit more of a raw sound, but I had one of their albums, the self-titled debut album of theirs, and when I got divorced in the early 2000s, there's a song on it that I listened to a lot, and I listened to that album a lot. But there was one song that kind of struck a chord with me, and it's called I Want to Be Adored. And I know it's a little cheesy, but it's true. With everything that I was going through and everything that was happening, I was wondering if I was ever going to find love again. And yeah, I know, look at me now, right? But it's true, and kind of really all I wanted was to be adored, to be loved, and cared for. And that was, it really struck me that way. So I told my daughter that, and she just looked at me. She almost had like a tear in her eye, and she's like, I'm getting you this one. So that was a done deal. And then my son, he's big and he's big time, like his dad, got to make big noise and all that stuff. He found me The Age of the Apocalypse by Thundercat. And it's awesome. It's an awesome looking record. Now, he found a couple other ones before that, and we talked about them, but I dig Thundercat. Not sure exactly why. It's not really actually my style of music, but I do dig it. And so he got me that. So those were my 2 records. And then my lovely wife got me a sweet record bag from Love Garden, that's awesome. So we're going to hopefully go over to our friend Booley's this weekend, and I'll be carting some records over there so we can jam out and hang out a little bit. And I'll be sporting that new Love Garden record bag when I do. So after that, we went to another store down the street. My daughter saw it when we passed it, but it's called Third Planet. And it's really cool, man. It's kind of a hippy dippy kind of store, but it's really cool, man. You know, it just smells like incense when you walk in there. And they got all that kind of transcendental stuff. And, you know, upstairs they had, they had 2 things. One was a head shop, which was interesting, but they also had like different jewelry for body jewelry, for piercings. And my daughter has her nose pierced just on the side. And so she was wanting to get something new. So I went up there with her in the head shop. Yeah, it was cool. The guy was really cool there, and he helped her pick some stuff out, and she was pretty excited. When we came back downstairs, my wife had found a dress, a tie-dye dress. Kind of like, they're kind of muumuus, you know, but you don't really call them that anymore. But she found one of those, and she looked great in it, and she loved it. And so I'm like, just get it, man. And she did. And then we went and ate at the Mad Greek. I think I've already told you guys all this. I'm going to cut all this out if I did. All right. So those are 2 new albums that I got. And then I also was really looking hard for To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. I love the song King Kunta. And I ended up scoring that one from a Target nearby here, because it's kind of hard to find that one. But anyway, I got a copy of that. I dig it. Very sexual lyrics and stuff. So I don't know how much I'll be playing that one around. It's always awkward, with sexual stuff around your kids. You know, even though I know they're 14 and 16 and they know about all that jazz, but it's just weird. But anyway, that's a good album. I like that album a lot too. That's kind of it on music. And then, of course, as you guys well know, because I've repeated it over and over and over again, coming up here at the beginning of July, the new box set of Frank Black and the Catholics, every one of their studio records comes out. And I've got mine on pre-order, so I'm looking forward to that. Got a big old box set of 6 albums coming here shortly. Okay, that's it for music. What am I watching? Well, finished Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Wow. That last episode, holy crap. It was amazing. If you haven't watched that show, I mean, the first couple of episodes are pretty slow moving. It picks up a little bit around the 3rd. The 4th is okay. The 5th picks up a lot. And the 6th is through the roof insane. Amazing. So, check it out if you get a chance. And then, you know, we're kind of in a holding pattern because the day after tomorrow, or Friday, July 1st, the last 2 episodes of season 4 of Stranger Things drops. And my wife and I and my daughter have been watching that together. My son and his girlfriend, she had never seen Stranger Things, so he's watching all the old ones with her, and she's trying to get caught up or whatever. That's fine. That's what people do. But my wife and my daughter and I guarantee we're going to watch both of those this holiday weekend. There's no way. I don't care if they're 2 hours for each episode. We're watching them. Guarantee it. So there's that. I've been watching a lot of docu-series and stuff. Trying to think of this one that I've been watching. It's really good. It's on Netflix, and it's basically it's something about the web. Let me see what it's called here. It's called Web of Make-Believe. And what it is it's a docu-series about different things that happen on the internet that aren't entirely true or honest, okay? So like the first one was about swatting. So if you don't know what that is, people are playing video games, someone kicks someone's ass real bad in it, the other person gets mad, calls and acts like there's some sort of crazy thing going on at the house of his opponent, and then SWAT team gets sent out to his opponent's house. And it's a big joke. The only problem is, one time, someone actually got killed due to it. So that one was crazy. The next one, I don't know. But anyway, there's one about someone who got involved in the alt-right, Yeah, that was pretty wild too. And then the latest one that I was watching earlier after work today is about sextortion, is what they call it. So it's a mix between extortion and sex and texting, really. But what it is this whole story about this guy who basically would meet these girls, because Facebook was just kind of starting at that time when the story takes place. And he would meet these young ladies. I say girls because they were all in high school. And he would meet these young ladies and then basically get to be friends with them and talking to them, texting with them, chatting with them, find out if they had ever sent a risque or nude photo to any boyfriend ever or whatever. The next thing each one of these girls would know is they were locked out of their own Facebook account. They were locked out of their own email accounts. They were locked out of everything because this guy got in there and took over all that stuff based upon the information that the person learned from them just by chatting with them. And at that point, he would have the photos of theirs that they had sent, the nude photos, and threatened if they didn't send him sexual photos or have sex with him or send him sexual videos or whatever, that he would put these embarrassing photos out on the internet for everyone to see. He would post them on Facebook. It's crazy, but the real crazy thing is that all these girls were in the same town up in New Hampshire. So pretty easy to figure out. It had to be somebody from that town that they knew. And anyway, you just got to see it. It's a real good show. I like that show a lot. It's been very interesting watching that. We also started the newest season 3 of The Umbrella Academy, which is awesome also. That's about it on the watching front. I mean, my wife and I, we've been watching season 2 of Hacks a little bit, and we'll continue watching that. It's a great show. But that's really about it at the moment. Who knows what's coming around the corner. Let's see. What am I reading? Not much, man. I'm pretty bad on that. Almost done with Paradise Sky. Probably will finish it this weekend when I'm mowing at some point. Great story. Looking forward to my next audiobook. So I think I've talked to you guys about that one already. Podcasts. I'm knee deep in Something Was Wrong, guys. It is an awesome podcast. I love it. I'm on season 3 now. I think there's like 13 seasons on there. Season 1 was great. I told you a little bit about that. Season 2 was interesting too. Season 3 is basically, it's just people who are in relationships with someone and they're kind of being gaslit and told that maybe they're crazy because they believe their gut instinct with these people, that these people aren't being honest with them. And it's everything from a relationship, the engagement in the first season. The next one was a woman who pretended that she had cancer and was sick and got people to move her and drive her places. And it's insane. And she had a thing, I think it's called factitious disease. It's a mental illness. But what it is people will tell somebody they're sick, and they'll take it so far as actually wounding themselves, like cutting themselves open a little bit and sewing themselves up to prove that they've had these surgeries and shit. It's wild, man. But that was a really interesting one. And then this third season is about a family friend, this lady who's a family friend and just wreaks havoc on these families because she's kind of full of shit, telling people things behind each other's backs, and it's nuts. So more to find out on that one, but great show. Radio Rental has been great, so I'm hoping for a new episode of that Friday. And then, of course, the Mr. Ballin podcast is just stellar. If you've not listened to that podcast or watched Mr. Ballin on YouTube, go right now and check it out, because those stories are incredible. That's about it, guys. I think that's all I usually cover, right? What I'm listening to, what I'm watching, what I'm reading, and podcasts. Podcasts are a bigger part of my life than I probably could have imagined, but I love them. I almost like listening to them more than audiobooks sometimes. But it's kind of like YouTube is like my favorite channel now too. I watch so much stuff on YouTube. And obviously with everything going on with the January 6th committee and other stuff that's going on out there in the world, gun control stuff and all that, there's all kinds of crazy shit on YouTube right now. And yeah, truth really is stranger than fiction when it comes to that kind of stuff. That's all I got right now, guys. I will have a new episode for you guys next week. Could be some big things happening over the next week or two. So I may have some really interesting news for you guys. But have a great 4th of July. Try not to blow off any digits. Try and have a safe and yet fun. What do I always say? Have fun, be safe, in that order. That's what I always tell my kids, right? So same thing goes for you guys. Have fun and be safe. So I want you to have fun no matter what, but I want you to be safe too. That's more realistic than saying be safe and have fun, right? But have a good time. Enjoy yourselves. Try not to burn anything down. Try not to get too ridiculous drunk or whatever it is that you do. And try not to blow anything up. Not too much, unless you mean to blow things up. All right. You guys take it easy. Catch you next week. And, oh, by the way, this weekend, when you're doing all this stuff, get off my lawn.